Hello friends, I'm Dr. Jyoti Sorout, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Gandhi Memorial National College, Ambala Kent, Haryana. Today, I'm going to discuss with you an important poem composed by Sarojini Naidu, and the title of the poem is The Bangle Sellers. But before discussing that poem, let me tell you first of all what I am going to cover in my presentation. So, first of all, we'll try to find out about Sarojini Naidu, what kind of a personality she was, and then we'll find out about the major poetic works of Sarojini Naidu. Then we'll read the text of the poem, The Bangle Sellers. After that, I'll be analyzing the poem for you. Then I'll also be telling you the main ideas of the poem. After discussing the main ideas, I'll come to the technical part and I'll also tell you about the form and language, style, and figures of speech used in the poem. In the end of my presentation, I'll also be discussing some of the important questions which I have noted down for all the students who are to appear in the final examinations. So, let's start with our presentation now. Who is Sarojini Naidu? As you can see her image, she is a very well-known Indian poetess. She was born on 13th February 1879 and she died on 2nd March 1949. She was a poet and a political activist. She was born in a Bengali family in Hyderabad. Her father, Aghorenath Chattopadhyay, was a renowned scientist, philosopher, educator, and a linguist. Her mother, Barada Sundari Devi, was a Bengali poet. So, you can see that she belonged to a highly educated family. And this family had a formative influence on her. When she was growing up, she was a very hardworking and talented student. Since her childhood, she was interested in learning languages. And you will be interested to know that she became proficient in Urdu, Telugu, English, Bengali, and Persian languages. Her father was the principal of Nizam College, Hyderabad. So, she got her education in, first of all, Madras, and at the age of 12, she passed the metric examination. And when she was 13, she composed a narrative poem in English of about 2000 lines. Her Persian play, she also wrote a Persian play. Her Persian play, Meher Munir, deeply impressed the Nizam of Hyderabad, and this Nizam provided her with a scholarship to study abroad. So, she went to London and Cambridge to complete her higher studies. So, she went to King's College, London, and then to Girton College, Cambridge. It was during her stay in London that she came in contact with very famous literary figures of her time. She came in contact with Arthur Symons and Edmund Gosse, who influenced her very much. It was Edmund Gosse who encouraged her to be a creative writer. and Goss convinced her to stick to writing about Indian themes. When she came back to India, she became a staunch supporter of civil rights, women's causes, and India's freedom struggle. Mahatma Gandhi gave her the title of Nightingale of India because of her beautiful poems. Rabindranath Tagore called her Bharat Kokila. So Sarojini Naidu wrote several poems for children, and the themes of majorly her poems include Indian culture and people, patriotism, romance, and tragedy. So her poetry focuses on the depiction of contemporary Indian life and spiritual thirst. Now let's discuss some of the major works written by Sarojini Naidu. First of all, her reputation as a poet rests on three collections. The first one of them is The Golden Threshold, which was published in 1905. After that, in 1912, came out another collection, The Bird of Time, Songs of Life, Death, and the Spring. And in 1917, the third collection came, and the title of the third collection was The Broken Wing, Songs of Life, Death, and the Spring. Then she also wrote some other works. In 1919 came out her Muhammad Jinnah, an Ambassador of Unity. In 1943 was published her work The Sceptred Flute, Songs of India. After her death in 1949, in 1961, another work composed by Sarojini Naidu was published by her daughter Padmaja Naidu, and this was edited by her daughter also. And the title of this work was The Feather of the Dawn. And in 1971 came out The Indian Weavers. So her poems, they are described as fanciful creations of Indian myths and legends. Her poetry, it talks about the soul of India, and you'll be surprised to know that her poetry not only talks about Indian themes, but it has a certain rhythmic quality. So you will definitely love all the poems composed by Naidu. So let's start one of her poems, which is our main topic of discussion today, the Bangle Sellers. So let's read the poem first of all. Bangle sellers are we who bear our shining loads to the temple fair. Who will buy these delicate, bright, rainbow-tinted circles of light? Lustrous tokens of radiant lives for happy daughters and happy wives. Some are meet for a maiden's wrist, silver and blue as the mountain mist. Some are flushed like the birds that dream on the tranquil brow of a woodland stream. Some are aglow with the bloom that cleaves to the limpid glory of newborn leaves. Some are like fields of sunlit corn, meet for a bride on her bridal morn. Some, like the flame of her marriage fire, or rich with the hue of her heart's desire. tinkling luminous, tender and clear, like her bridal laughter and bridal tear. Some are purple and gold-flecked grey, for she who has journeyed through life midway. Whose hands have cherished, whose love has blessed, and cradled fair sons on her faithful breast, and serves her household in fruitful pride, and worships the gods at her husband's side. So this is the text of our poem, The Bangle Sellers. This poem was first published in the second collection of her poetry, The Bird of Time. And I told you earlier also, The Bird of Time was published in 1912. So in this poem, we can see there is a group of bangle sellers, and one of those bangle sellers is the narrator of the poem. And this group is going to a temple fair. So now let's discuss some of the main points which we can gather after reading the poem. So there is an exploration of the life of Indian women, Indian culture and traditions revolving around women. As you can see, only after the single reading of this poem, we can very well guess that this poem is about Indian women wearing bangles or wishing to buy bangles. And the bangle sellers, they are trying to attract the attention of those prospective customers who are going to buy bangles from them. And we all know how much Indian women love bangles. It is their favorite ornament. So, Sarojini Naidu has explored the life of Indian women, Indian culture and traditions revolving around women. These bangles, they are the important ornament for embellishment of women in Indian society. Indian women love adorning colorful, shining bangles whenever they are going to celebrate some special occasions, or even normally also. So we can see there is a scene of bangle sellers at the temple fair, and these bangle sellers are shouting out to the people to have a look at their bangles as if they are urging them to buy bangles for their daughters and wives and sisters. And in the we'll be trying to find out how various stages of life of women have been described by Sarojini Naidu in this poem. So all in all, this poem celebrates the life of women, and especially Indian women. So now analyze the poem. Let's analyze the poem. Bangle sellers are we who bear our shining loads to the temple fair. Who will buy these delicate, bright, rainbow-tinted circles of light? Lustrous tokens of radiant lives for happy daughters and happy wives. I have already told you that there are several bangle sellers who are on their way to the temple fair, and they are carrying on their heads the loads of shining colorful bangles. And these so many speakers, they are speaking as if only one. So we can see there is a class essence. Then these bangle sellers, they are actually trying to attract the attention of the customers, and they are, in fact, they are trying to ask the question, who will buy these delicate, bright, and rainbow tinted circles of light? Circles of light, the bright and shining bangles. Rainbow tinted, various hued, variously colored. Delicate, we all know that glass bangles are so delicate, they can be easily broken. But they are in such bright and shining colors that everyone gets attracted to them very easily. Then, lustrous tokens of radiant lives. People become happy when and especially women become happy when they are in possession of these bangles. For happy daughters and happy wives. So, daughters and wives, sisters or mothers, for whosoever the bangles are bought, they automatically become happy on seeing the bright and shining colors of the bangles. And these bangles are especially bought on some special particular occasions. So we can see that it is a typical Indian setup, and the first stanza of this poem, it gives us the discussion of the bangle sellers and what kind of shining loads uh, of bangles they are trying to sell at the temple fair. Now let's analyze second stanza from lines 7 to 12. Some are meet for a maiden's wrist, silver and blue as the mountain mist. Some are flushed like the buds that dream on the tranquil brow of a woodland stream. Some are aglow with the bloom that cleaves to the limpid glory of newborn leaves. So from this stanza onwards, the poetess has started describing various stages in the lives of women. So this stanza describes the stage of adolescence and youth. So there are bangles on the heads of the bangle sellers, in the baskets of the bangle sellers, and these bangles, they are meant for women of all ages. So some bangles, they are meant for a maiden's wrist. Maiden means an unmarried girl's wrist. For unmarried girls. So unmarried girls, they generally like to wear silver, pink, blue or green colored bangles. Then some bangles, they are so flushed. Flushed means red in color. They are so red in color like the buds that dream on the tranquil brow of a woodland stream. So some bangles are shining red colored, and these are also worn by the unmarried girls, and these unmarried girls, here a symbol has been used for them, uh, the symbol of a bud. So before becoming a full bloomed flower, means unmarried girls, young maidens, before becoming fully grown women, these young girls, they dream of their marriage, and they they like to wear bright red colored bangles. Some are aglow with the bloom that cleaves through the limpid glory of newborn leaves. So, some bangles are of transparent green color. This is the same color as that of fresh leaves, new leaves. And here again we can see another symbol. These newborn leaves, they symbolize the transparent beauty and purity of girls. Just like newborn, fresh green leaves, light green in color, shining in color, they are so transparent. Similarly, unmarried young girls, their beauty is transparent, they are so pure. So this has been compared to the beauty and purity and transparency of newborn leaves. So different colored bangles are worn by women in different stages of life. Now in the third stanza of the poem, that is from lines 13 to 18, we'll try to find out in what kind of stage Mrs. Naidu is portraying the women. Some are like fields of sunlit corn, meet for a bride on her bridal morn. So now the unmarried girls, they are getting married, means they have attained the adulthood. So this is the adult stage of women which is being described in the third stanza. Some are like fields of sunlit corn. So some bangles, here some word is used for the bangles. So throughout the poem we can see the description of various hues of the bangles and what kind of women like to wear which colored bangles. So fields of sunlit corn means bright yellow colored bangles. Shining. That is why their shine adds some beauty to the bangles. That is why women love wearing bangles. And a bride, a girl who is getting married. So that bride, it is one of the main ornaments of a bride. So the brides on the next morning of their marriage, they like to wear shining yellow colored bangles. Some like the flame of her marriage fire, or rich with the hue of her heart's desire. So some bangles are as red as the flames of marriage fire. And some bangles reflect the color and brightness of love in the bride's heart. A newlywed bride, she is having the passion. She has dreamt of a passionate life, and now after her marriage, she is going to attain that passion. So this red color is symbolic of that passion of her newly married life. So her heart's desires, they symbolize the color red, or red color symbolizes her heart's desire. Tinkling, luminous, tender and clear, like her bridal laughter and bridal tear. So all the bangles, they make the tinkling sounds, the musical sound, and this musical sound produced by these bangles is very sweet, soft and clear. just like the laughter or tears of a bride. So we can also see the transition in the woman's life from an unmarried girl to a married woman in these lines. There is the comparison, or you can say the structure is that of bridal laughter and bridal tear. So, bridal laughter means the joy of new married life in the mind of that, in the heart of that girl. And bridal tear, why is the girl in tears? Because she is sad on leaving her parents' house. So uh, these brightly colored bangles, they produce a musical sound, and that sound is as sweet, as clear as the laughter or tears of a newlywed girl. Hence, we can see that in this stanza there is a lyrical beauty and sweet melody. Now, let's analyze the final stanza of the poem. Some are purple and gold flecked grey, for she who has journeyed through life midway. Okay, so we can also see the journey of a woman being described in the poem from stanza 2 to stanza 3 to stanza 4. Stanza 2 describes the young stage of a woman's life, when she is unmarried, when she is maiden, when she is just a girl. Then stanza 3 describes when the girl attains adulthood and she gets married. And the final stanza describes the middle age of a woman, when she has journeyed through life midway. That she has journeyed through life and she has reached midway. So now she is a middle aged lady. So these middle aged ladies, they like to wear purple and gold, grey colored bangles, whose hands have cherished, whose love has blessed, and cradled fair sons on her faithful breast. So these middle aged women now have given birth to handsome sons. Use of the word sons. Here we can see that this use of the word sons shows the typical attitude of male preference in Indian society. Male preference. So these middle-aged women, they have become mothers to handsome sons, and they have nursed them lovingly at their breasts. And this very middle-aged woman also serves her household in fruitful pride and worships the gods at her husband's side. So these women, they have not only given birth to sons, they have served their families with pride and faithfulness, and they have worshipped the family gods and goddesses in the company of their husbands. So the middle-aged women who have lived large parts of their lives, they like to wear grey or purple shaded bangles, and they have raised their children well, and they have been very faithful to their husbands or families. So typically Indian, because in India it is considered to be a very good thing if a woman takes care of her children, if she is faithful to her husband, if she is faithful to her family, and if, especially if she is the mother of sons. So, this poem is full of Indianness. Now, before analyzing the form and language of the poem, let me also tell you that in this poem, after reading this poem, after analyzing this poem, we can also see that Bangle sellers, and one of them is the speaker, that speaker doesn't even utter a single word about his or her poverty. And these Bengal sellers are generally quite poor. So this Bengal seller, he does not talk about the profit that is going to be made from selling the bangles at the fair. Instead, the main focus of the speaker is on the human element of the product. And the product is the bangles. So, Sarojini Naidu actually lays emphasis on the auspiciousness and symbolic importance of the custom of wearing bangles in Indian society. Each of these four stanzas, they describe bangles of different hues, different colors, that will match the women wearing them. So different kind of women in different stages, they like to wear different colored bangles. Young girls, they like to wear silver and pink colored, even green colored bangles. The brides, they like to wear yellow, golden, or red colored bangles. And when the woman attains middle age, that very woman, her preference of colors changes and she likes to wear purple or grey colored bangles. That's all for today. This was all about the poem The Bangle Sellers. I hope you liked it. Thank you. Thank you very much.